What's going on, everybody? Hashtag Data Spun back with a new video today. And I'm coming to you live from my father's house here in New Zealand. It's my first time home in 9 years, been very, very exciting. This week, I'm joined by the man himself, Mr. Joel Zwicker. He is the chief evangelist over at Agency Revolution. So, Joel, thank you for joining me, man.
Thanks for having me. A true honor to be included and be a part of it. Happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So really, the topic that I want to talk about today, you raised some super interesting points around the fear of automation in the industry, and then to sort of book in there what that means for the consumer experience and the consumer expectations. So can you kind of dig into, the fear of automation, why does it exist?
Well, I believe the fear of automation exists for generations. This has been a relationship business. People value the relationship, and that's deemed to be like handshake. I see my clients day to day, and that is deemed to be the relationship. But that is not what it is today. People actually crave more from you. They crave more from an independent insurance agent, and just understand that we are in a volume business in most aspects, personal line, small commercial. So the ability for an agent, a CSR, producer, agency owner to reach out as much as they need to solidify those relationships is almost impossible. So it's almost impossible. So you need to leverage automation. But you got to do it right. So there is an asterisk there. You just can't willy-nilly do it. But people do choose independent agencies for two reasons. It's expertise and relationship. Right. And you need to leverage automation in the world today to do that. It's not realistic. So there shouldn't be a fear. What there should be a fear is not communicating with your clients enough. That should be the fear, not the fear of how we're going to do it.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense, because if you are craving expertise, to your point, how are you supposed to get that when you speak to the client actually in person once per year, right? So I think automation definitely makes sense. So I guess, in your travels, what's sort of been the holdup? Like, what's that sort of blocker for people not embracing automation?
Well, it is that fear that you lose that personal touch. Like they think, like when people think automation, think like you think your own inbox and you get that coupon, right? I don't want that coupon, right? So that's why really when you shouldn't fear automation, you should fear doing it right. And really losing personal touch only happens if not done correctly. So when communicating with people, in particular clients at mass, you need to factor in, really four big things, which is relevancy. So is this communication relevant for the people I'm sending it to? Is it timely for the people I'm sending it to? Is it coming from someone they trust? So yeah, it might be my name or your name on the billboard, but they may not necessarily have that relationship with me. They may have the relationship with a producer or CSR within the agency. And then your communications, finally, the fourth piece is they need to be personalized. And so I think we're past the point of mail merging first name as personalization. Like, there's all kinds of options out there where you can bring in, leverage the data that you have. Like, your greatest source of data is your agency management system. So being able to leverage that to incorporate those four items, but in particular, personalizing the communication negates that fear of that personal touch.
Interesting. And that kind of goes back to your point. What you're saying is everybody's so like, I have to talk to Gen Z like this, and I have to talk to millennials like that. And what you were saying is it's kind of across the board, because it doesn't really matter who you are. Everybody's kind of like expecting that same experience, right? Can you kind of like expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think I get asked to do webinars and conversations like how to attract a younger generation, millennials, Gen Zs, X's, whatever have you. Boomers are like retiring or whatever have you. I think it's not so much about attracting a younger generation. It's living up to consumer expectations of 2022, 2023, and that is a digital medium. Like, as at the time of this recording, I'm 42 years old. I have an expectation from my agent that I can communicate via text, maybe go to their website, do a chat, email certainly, and I would likely, in most cases, not call or not even want to call. I'm busy. I don't have time for that. I want to be able to do that on a time that's easy for me. I have that expectation, as does my 21-year-old son, as does my 70-year-old father.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've kind of covered all the gens and boom situation there. It's consumer expectation today
Yeah.
that they can communicate with you in a digital manner. And I will throw the asterisks out there, and I've had many conversations about this. I think the falsehood is that people expect instant answers.
Yeah.
That's not true. What the expectation is that you have instant acknowledgement. So if I send a text or a chat or an email, my expectation is someone acknowledges it. A real person acknowledges, hey, I got you. I've got your request. I've got your information. I'll get whatever, and then whatever expectation, this is going to be completed in the next hour, the next 24 hours, whatever it is, that's okay. But my expectation is someone acknowledges me quick. I don't necessarily need what it is I'm asking for in seconds. I need to be acknowledged in seconds.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So I guess sort of, bookending and wrapping all this together, if you're an agency out there, insurance person who has these kinds of fears, has these worries, as one sort of actionable thing that people could take right now, what would that sort of one thing be? What would you recommend?
You know what? If there was one thing I would recommend to do today is just take a step in that direction.
Yeah.
There's lots of thought leadership out there in this industry, and there's lots of experts that I think talk in a situation where it's almost like they're talking about the unicorns.
Yeah.
And I think we all would love to be a unicorn in a situation where I'm going to communicate so precisely every time and everything's going to be perfect. But the reality for most agencies is that's not going to happen because we're busy and we have a business to run. But if you can just make one actionable step. So if you're not communicating, or you're not, you're just blasting out kind of generic stuff that you're grabbing from somewhere, take a step back. Before you send that next communication out to everybody, ask those questions. Is this relevant? Is it timely?
Yeah.
Not just for a few people, but to everybody. So if you can start just to take that step and think a little bit more, a little deeper about what communications you're doing and how you're doing it, I think it makes a huge difference. And I believe anybody can do that regardless of what solutions you may or may not have at your fingertips at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Cool. Thanks, Joel, for joining me. Everybody, hope you guys got some good value out of them, and I'll catch you on the next one.